While Tzu Chi volunteers hold prayer services for Chi Po-lin and 2 others, many come together to honor the talented director. Myanmar Tzu Chi volunteers help repair the roof of a financial aid student's home to ensure she has a good home environment. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Lee-Shioda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program with some sad news. Filmmaker Chi Po-lin and 2 others have passed away in a helicopter crash over the weekend while filming a sequel to the famous documentary Beyond Beauty, Taiwan from Above. Tzu Chi volunteers have mobilized to accompany the families and assist in prayer services in Hualien. In addition, people who worked with the director Chi in the past also paid tribute to the acclaimed filmmaker.
While filming a sequel to the documentary Beyond Beauty, filmmaker Chi Po-lin, his assistant Chen Guanqi, and the pilot Zhang Zhiguang died in a helicopter crash. Upon learning of the news, their families, including Chi's son, have rushed to Hualien where the crash took place. Tzu Chi volunteers have also accompanied these families to return to the crash site on June 11th.
We mobilized about 15 volunteers for the prayer service yesterday. This morning, more Tzu Chi sisters came. I think this is shocking news for anyone. When I came yesterday, I saw Mrs. Chi and I encouraged her to cry and let out her emotions.
We appreciate Master Zhen Yan, Dharma Masters, and Tzu Chi brothers and sisters, in addition to volunteers from Dharma Drum Mountain who have helped us in the prayer service.
After the bodies of the deceased are moved to Taipei, Tzu Chi volunteers will continue to assist in the prayer service and accompany the families. Nox Nativa Chorus has also paid a tribute to Chi. Nox Nativa Chorus is singing Chi's favorite song, riding a balloon to fly in the sky to honor him.
王本信王教官他知道这个画面在这部电影里面的重要性，所以他就带着我飞上去了。
Recalling how Chi climbed Yushan with a group of students, Principal Ma Bide is also saddened.
This Japanese song can express his feelings of freedom while flying in the sky.
Acclaimed filmmaker Chi has raised people's awareness of environmental concepts in Taiwan, and he has lent his aerial photos and footage to environmental groups for free.
Asia Cement Corporation and Far Eastern sponsored a marathon at Taroko Gorge. Back then, Chi generously let us use his aerial photos of Asia Cement Corporation. I think Chi wanted everyone to look at Taiwan with a different perspective and let us know there are many wonderful things in Taiwan.
Chi said he hoped to be the eye in the sky for Taiwanese and show people Taiwan's beautiful scenery, having overcome fears and risks to challenge himself and document Taiwan through aerial photography. Filmmaker Chi is remembered for his wonderful spirit and love for Taiwan.
Staying in Hualien, on June 8th, the global 4-in-1 training camp for team leaders began, where over 800 volunteers from China gathered to learn more about Tzu Chi's lineage and doctrines. Let's take a look at the beginning of their lessons. Tzu Chi volunteers use love to bring environmental awareness to the streets of Hainan, China. On this day, many of the volunteers have come to Hualien, Taiwan, to gain a further understanding of Tzu Chi.
The most important is to learn how to work together as a team to fully spread Tzu Chi's charity work and recycling to more areas in our local community.
The first day of the 4-in-1 training camp is filled with lessons from Dharma Masters, including an explanation of Tzu Chi's lineage.
The path to Tzu Chi Dharma lineage is the root of our logic. Tzu Chi's doctrine is our action, our truth. We can see it when volunteers are amongst the people. The entire Jingsi Dharma lineage and Tzu Chi's doctrine is the core of what Tzu Chi is about.
Working together is the spirit of Tzu Chi's 4-in-1 team. The over 800 volunteers from China take the time to gain more knowledge about Tzu Chi so they may help spread it to more places in the future. On the second day, the volunteers from China continue to learn how to actualize Tzu Chi's charity in local communities.
It's quite moving seeing so many areas having been influenced by Tzu Chi. It makes me feel like a spring well has been discovered, so I really need to learn more and act immediately. Just like the master says, doing the right thing is right.
The volunteers from Jilin's Changchun not only participate in Master Jinyan's early morning Dharma lessons, but have also helped impoverished students pursue their education. Their attendance this time helps them understand more about Tzu Chi's spirit.
After listening to the sharing, my understanding has become clear and complete. From the legal perspective to the organization's makeup and the mutual understanding of the team, I think I've reached an understanding.
At their spiritual homeland, these Tzu Chi volunteers hope to take what they have learned home and continue to spread Tzu Chi to more forgotten corners of the world. In preparation for Tzu Chi's 4-in-1 camp, Tzu Chi volunteers from Taichung, Yilan, Taidong, and of course, Hualien gathered to set up the camp venue. They were mindful in every task, ensuring the participants will learn in a comfortable environment well away from their home.
Wiping every corner and fitting the pillowcases, the volunteers from Taichung, Yilan, Taidong, and Hualien are working together to help their overseas Dharma families feel at home.
When we fit the pillowcases, we have to make sure they are placed in the right direction. This way they will look tidy and neat.
Placing place markers, the volunteers are busy setting up the venue a week before Tzu Chi's 4-in-1 camps for team leaders.
How many people are needed to set up the venue? We work together. With more people, we can accomplish the task sooner.
The volunteers line up on the platform to welcome and carry the luggage for their counterparts from China. Everyone's happy to show their responsibilities, so the participants in the 4-in-1 camp can learn and grow in a comfortable environment.
The occurrence of extreme weather may overwhelm current flood control systems during bouts of heavy rain, leading to more frequent flooding. Here in Taiwan, there are many pumping stations with large rows of equipment and flood detention pools and other engineering hardware. Despite these preparations, over the past few years, flooding continues. In recent years, more and more countries such as China and Japan have developed a new drainage system, which is much like a sponge city, making use of underground drainage. Many are wondering if this will help alleviate our flooding problems.
There's thick mud here because plum rains brought torrential rains. Taipei's Nehu Dahu community was heavily affected, with many residents saying that Dahu Park water gate wasn't opened.
Dahu's water drains into the Keelung River, but if the Keelung River is full, then Dahu's water won't drain easily.
For many, water conservancy officials and other flood disaster scholars say there was simply too much rainfall.
According to the regulations, our standard for sewer capacity is 78.8 millimeters, and at this station we measured 87.5 millimeters, which was our 50-year protection standard. So this rain far exceeded this level.
In Dahu, there are actually several hills, and from a wider perspective, the water from these mountains, during torrential rain over a short period of time, will all collect in a few areas. It doesn't matter if the water gate was open or not, because all of the sewers were overflowing.
It's not just Dahu's mountainous area, but elsewhere where urbanization has led to high-rises to pop up in the mountains or along the river. Despite this excellent scenery, there are some risks as disaster planning is necessary. From history, New Taipei Xizhi is at risk with typhoons leading to heavy rain and flooding. But after a mountain stream diversion project was carried out, the area no longer floods and property prices have increased several times. Now many modern developments include flood detention pools, which was one way rural communities a long time ago dealt with this problem. When the heavy rains occurred, this water would be temporarily stored here to avoid exceeding drainage system capacity. However, with the scope of urban development expanding, there's less land to build such pools, with many disappearing.
Parks can be such areas to collect water because they are quite large and have grass slopes or ecological areas where heavy rain can go and infiltrate and permeate the ground. Too much water can even be let out. It may not even be necessary to build ponds here.
With land becoming increasingly hard to get, recent flood control facilities have even moved underground, as many are expanding the use of underground detention pools to create a sort of sponge city.
This concept is from the United States, calling for porous ground cover, allowing the water to infiltrate down and then connect with a pipe. This means the water doesn't need to enter sewage system or go to the river.
This method involves a permeable pavement so that the whole city can absorb water like a sponge. This concept means coexistence with water, with neighboring countries like Japan long using this concept, with the most famous drainage facility being the Saitama Prefecture's underground palace.
The concept of a sponge is to first absorb the water and then slowly release it. It is supposed to be done in sections and not large areas, so we are trying to promote it within local communities.
We have to be careful because each area has different soil, and some combination of soil does not allow for seepage. Therefore, putting these tiles with pores isn't useful at all. Also, we can use these tiles on areas above underground parking lots.
In other words, the concept of a sponge city should be used carefully. Given Taiwan's high population density, there is more and more impermeability, with water drainage systems increasingly important to reduce the threat of flooding.
In Myanmar, a teenage girl considered quitting school to support her impoverished family. Upon learning of the news, Tzu Chi volunteers promised to provide her with a scholarship and rice for the family so the girl can continue her education. In addition, the volunteers even went to her house to repair the roof for the family.
Accompanied by the principal, Tzu Chi volunteers have arrived at Alpha May's house to promise the family they'll provide scholarship and rice. They hope Alpha May can continue to pursue her education. In addition, the volunteers have decided to come again because there's an important task to be done. Early in the morning, the volunteers have come to measure the size of the roof. With the raining season approaching, mending the roof is an urgent task. Using a straw mat and bamboo poles, volunteers work as a team to repair the roof. Besides repairing the roof, volunteers also make supporting posts from strips of bamboo. Yu Ting Tan, who has lived in a straw house for years, is experienced in making these repairs.
I've also experienced leaking during rainy season. I cannot bear to see the same situation here, so I've come to help fix the roof.
Hiring a worker would cost 10,000 kyats a day, and it takes 2 days to fix it. The volunteers did it in 1 day.
In June, when the volunteers come to deliver rice, despite the rain outside, they chat with the families with ease.
Thank you for fixing the roof. Now I can study at home with ease.
On Alpha May's desk, she posted Jingzi aphorisms for encouragement and to remind herself to be grateful for the precious opportunity to study.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Jordan once again headed to the Zatari camp to distribute food to Bedouins and Syrian refugees for Ramadan. This time, many businessmen volunteers from Taiwan also attended this distribution. Seeing the poor living conditions, these volunteers all felt heartbroken and were thankful for Tzu Chi's dedication to the needy.
Today we are going to care for 35 families at a local camp. There are still 23 Syrian refugee families living there.
Outside the window, the view has gradually turned from city to desert. This is the Zatari camp where Tzu Chi volunteers in Jordan came each month to host an aid distribution. Since it's Ramadan and many Muslim refugees are fasting during daytime, volunteers bring a lot more food here this time. They never forget 15 years ago, 2 eggs were already considered a sumptuous meal for a family here. Besides Bedouins, there are also 20-some Syrian refugee families living here. Volunteers ensure each one of their identity in case they miss distributing the aid supplies to any family. Children also receive candies and balloons. The business volunteers never thought that the happiness they need is this simple.
I feel we are worlds apart, living in a fortunate environment in Taiwan. We feel moved when seeing the living condition here. I am heartbroken.
Saying farewell with joy and laughter in the wind, they all hope that they can see one another next time as soon as possible.
To assist in many different types of disasters, Tzu Chi Foundation has many inventions and equipment that is suited for disaster relief. To inspire more innovations dedicated to compassionate relief, the Tzu Chi Foundation is hosting an invention competition with that goal in mind. Working on command, the volunteers open up the mobile kitchen and begin to work. The new Taipei City Deputy Mayor Hou You-yi came to take a look.
300 portions per hour.
The mobile kitchen can steam, cook, and stir-fry. It has been put into action in different disaster situations to provide food for victims and search and rescue team.
In our disaster relief work, this has become much-needed equipment. In the future, we hope to continue to develop more innovations to help. When in combination with the assistance from the government, it is sure to be an essential support system for search and rescue.
Tzu Chi also has a water purifying system that can provide 5 tons of clean drinking water for nearly 1,000 people per day. ATV bikes also help in communication in disaster situations. Of course, more young minds are needed to come up with good ideas. Thus, Tzu Chi Foundation held the first annual Compassionate Disaster Relief Technology Competition.
Taking the opportunity to inspire young people's imagination to come up with innovative disaster relief equipment or even items that can assist seniors in regards to long-term care 2.0.
We hope this becomes a platform, not only for technology, but really a platform of technology with a heart of compassion, as we don't think of innovations which just come from people, but from their hearts.
As long as one is over 18 and attends a university or technical college, one can enter this contest. Tzu Chi hopes to inspire young people to put compassion ahead of others on this technology innovation platform. The graduation ceremony of the Tzu Chi Senior High School affiliated with Tzu Chi University was held on the morning of June 10th. Nearly 500 students from kindergarten to the high school division attended the ceremony to say farewell to their teachers and classmates.
Students from the kindergarten to the high school division of the Tzu Chi Senior High School, affiliated with Tzu Chi University, gave a sign language performance alongside teachers at a graduation ceremony, showing Tzu Chi's humanitarianism.
Grandpa and Grandma, I love you. Thank you for loving me too. I'll do my best to be a little bodhisattva whom everyone likes.
This year's graduation ceremony is themed with filial piety. These students who obtain filial piety award also gives a performance to express gratitude to his parents and teachers.
I am thankful for each teacher who has taught me. They gave me directions when I hesitated about which way to go, allowing me to walk the right path. I also thank my family for giving me the chance to learn and grow in this comfortable environment at this school.
Nearly 500 students have received the diploma, meaning that they are going to pursue a new phase of education.
Today, we feel very happy bringing congratulations and blessings to Tzu Chi's school graduation ceremony. We want to once again express thanks to Master Cheng Yang. I think Tzu Chi is able to bring these children abroad to see how big the world is and how advanced each country is.
Seeing these Tzu Chi seeds growing strong and healthy, Master Cheng Yang also brings blessings.
孩子的希望在教育，国家社会的希望就是在人才。老师们呢，负起了这一份的责任，用父母心来疼惜学生，这种共同一体，方向一致，这可以把孩子教得好。相信我们未来的都是在孩子的身上。
Tzu Chi School safeguards each child with love, allowing them to spread their wings and fly, starting from the day of this graduation ceremony.
In a related note to the previous story, while the graduates were saying farewell to their teachers and classmates, the principal of the school, Lee Ke-nan, was also saying goodbye. Having served at the school for 11 years, Lee is retiring from her post.
We should especially express gratitude to our parents and teachers who cultivate us. We should also say thanks to our classmates who learn with us.
Principal of the Tzu Chi Senior High School, affiliated with Tzu Chi University, Lee Ke-nan is an indispensable leader at this school. However, no one can hear her advice on campus after July of this year.
校长，你打开窗户。是。
To honor Mrs. Lee's retirement and thank her for her 11 years of service to the school, Zhichen fathers and Ida mothers presented her with a handcrafted book of her accomplishments.
I've always felt I do not slack off in any one of my duties. In the days ahead, I also hope this group will continue to improve because of my presence.
Having been devoted to education for 45 years, Mrs. Lee resolutely decided to take up the mission of Tzu Chi education, even though she had already retired from Hualien Girls Senior High School. Many of her students are outstanding, such as the current president of the Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology.
I
have learned a lot from you. Every time I saw you giving a report at a meeting, your gestures were very elegant. As your student, I thank you for teaching me everything.
For Mrs. Lee, retiring from this school does not mean stopping carrying out her mission of education, as she promised to continue to devote herself to education as a volunteer.
As there have been recycling volunteers putting in time and effort at Malaysia's recycling stations, Tzu Chi Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter held a special ceremony to recognize their dedication. This ceremony hopes to motivate more people to join this good cause to protect the planet. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.